So go ahead and tell us a little bit, how did you get involved in the music industry? Tell us about your start.
So basically I've been classically trained since I was 5 years old on piano and flute. And I don't really tell people that I'm classically trained on flute because it's a kind of like a secret for me. But
Huh.
yeah, that's how I started. And then when I was 15, I went through a phase and I picked up the guitar, like self-taught in guitar and drums, and I formed a high school band in high school in Greece, Athens. And we started sort of doing shows around Athens, and I didn't want to be a cover band, so I used to write my own songs for the band.
Uh-huh.
And that was really when I got into the whole songwriting part of music, and I realized that that's really what I loved doing. I mean, I loved performing and playing instruments, but writing my own music was what I was very passionate about. So then when I graduated high school, I pursued, songwriting and music composition and production in the UK. I did a bachelor's in music composition and production. And I used to go to a lot of underground house. I don't know if you've ever been to London, but it's kind of, the scene there is, it's very cool. Like, it's a very cool dance scene. So I used to go to a lot of underground parties and house parties and stuff like that. And all the DJs were spinning with vinyl and turntables.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, this is nuts. Like, I don't understand how they're doing this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I was still in college and I went on like a Craigslist type thing and I found this guy who was selling a couple of turntables, the 1210s Technics, if you're familiar, but he was selling them. So I saved up money and I bought them from him and I set them up in my dorm room and taught myself how to spin house records, like vinyl records.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so that's how I got into DJing. Sort of one thing led to another, and I started doing local parties and little bars and clubs around the university. And then I got scouted, and all of a sudden I was playing at the Ministry of Sound in London, which is a huge, huge club, one of the biggest in the world. And then I started producing a lot of dance-based music and electronic music. So
Wow, that's amazing. For people that didn't
I'm
know that, that's such a cool story that you just told us your start. I love that.
it's
Amazing.
it's long. There's no short version.
Tell us a little bit about your new mixes and everything like that. Under These Lights, fill us in on that. Tell us.
Yeah, so Under These Lights is my new single. It was just released, and I'm signed to Pitbull's label, but we have a great working relationship in that whatever makes sense, we release under his label, the more commercial sounding stuff and, the more top 40 targeted stuff. And then obviously because I'm a DJ, I produce a lot of dance music. So anything that's more on the dance side of things, I have the luxury of releasing with my independent label called Funky Sheep Records. So Under These Lights was released by my independent label. And initially it was released as a dance track, something that was a cool dance track for the clubs, that kind of thing. But now it's starting to really take a different turn because in the commercial scene are really starting to like it, and they're latching onto it. And currently, as we speak, it's number 7 on the Billboard Dance Club charts. So that's very sort of insane for
That's a
me. I
big
still can't
deal.
believe it.
A big
Like
deal.
I kind of don't want to look at it because I'm like, no, this isn't like real, I just produced this and this is my track, but I don't know how I got up there. So yeah, I mean it's a very exciting project for me. I'm actually about to go to Greece on the 15th of May to shoot the music video for the song.
Oh, wow. Where are you going to do it? Tell us about that.
Well, because I'm a perfectionist, I'm currently on calls and meetings and ass-kicking moments with my team, trying to really get something that's great for the video. The song is a very important and significant song for me. If you listen to the lyrics closely, it's very deep and it's very meaningful, and it speaks of positivity and unity and love, the meaning of love and the importance of love and all those things. And it's really something that I wanted to put out there into the world because I feel like worldwide people are lacking that. People are lacking a sense of positivity and unity and love and embracing people, and each other. So the song, in terms of a song, is very important to me. And then production-wise, I'm very proud of, just on the nerdy tech side of things. I'm very proud of certain things that I've done. So I really wanted the video to be something that does the song and the track justice, but that isn't too far, from the organic, humane element that this song speaks of. So it's kind of tricky.
Somewhere indoors, outdoors, like the beauty of Greece, indoor. I don't know what.
Oh no, it has to be outdoors. It has to be outdoors.
Yeah.
It's going to be organic.
Okay,
we're gonna. Yeah, no, we're gonna do a lot of different locations. We're looking at some beautiful mountain areas in Greece, in Athens, and obviously the streets of Athens, to have that kind of more real street, urban side of, people, and
yes.
Greece, obviously, because that's where we're shooting at. It's gonna be a cool video, and I think that it's something that a lot of people can relate to. So
That's
I'm
gonna be
excited.
amazing. Of course, take advantage of Greece and its beauty, all of that.
Oh my gosh, if it was up to me, I'd go to an island.
Yes.
I would shoot the whole thing on a beach. Actually, there is a scene on a beach, but I don't think scheduling doesn't permit us to go to an island. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll
maybe
see.
another video, another time. You have to
Another
do that.
time. Another
A little bit
time.
about your Greece living. What is that like when you're over there?
I love going back to Greece. It's a lot of people ask me what I consider my home, because obviously I'm half Greek from my mom, half Egyptian from my dad, an American citizen born in Paris.
Wow.
So I'm a little mixed up in terms of, cultural belonging. But Greece is, in my heart and really my home, That's where I grew up. So whenever I go back, I have that feeling of security and, just familiarity and just everything, even the atmosphere, the energy. When I go back, it's beautiful. So I always make an effort.
What's a normal day like for you in Greece? Like, what do you like to do? Like, even in your spare time, or even when you're working, what's like a day like for you?
Oh gosh, well, in Greece I have a lot of work. So I usually go back for work, and then I come back here for work. So I'm always working. Typical day in Greece, something I don't have in New York, my car. So I'm always in my car. I pretty much live in there. Usually wake up. I have a team just for Greece, sort of a local manager and, an entire team. So I usually speak to them in the morning to find out what the schedule is. And then we go ahead and we do, whatever we need to do, like interviews, TV appearances, photo shoots, shows at night. Studio sessions, meetings, stuff like that.
You were just on Kotsopoulos' show?
I was.
Tell us about
Did you see that?
Yes, I did. What was that like? Does this ring a bell?
Honestly,
does
what?
this ring a bell?
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
There we go.
Gotta throw that in there.
Yeah, that was, honestly, I had a really good time. First of all, Mr. Kostopoulos is amazing. He was extremely nice, very, very, great energy. The interview was a really good time for me. We had a lot of fun. It was very light and it was very meaningful at the same time, which was perfect. With regards to the Agapi Mono guy, I don't know his name, by the way. Everybody, Tasso? Okay, so Tasso. Because I call him the Agapi Mono guy. I'm assuming he has a name.
I know.
So the Agapi Mono guy, a lot of people get very upset with him, and I don't know why, I don't have an issue with the guy. I was there. He kind of crashed the interview. Honestly, I thought it was hilarious. Like, I laughed. The guy is he's just living his moment. He's young. He's obviously, like, getting a kick out of everything that's going on. Yeah. So why not?
And now tell us, are you going on any other Greek shows that we can look forward to?
Yeah, so basically I'm going back on the 15th to shoot the music video, and then my summer tour starts in Greece, which is always a great time because summer's high season and islands and...
Yeah, where are you going on the tour?
God, just everywhere from Io to Santorini, obviously Athens, Mykonos, wow. It's going to be kind of all over the place, which is amazing. I love it. So, I'm doing the summer tour. Big show that's coming up is the Color Day Festival. It's a big festival that takes place at the Olympic Stadium in Athens. And there's like thousands of people. It's kind of like, what's that festival called? Life in Color. It's
Oh,
like
okay,
the Life
yeah.
in Color Festival, if you've heard of it.
Hmm.
It's that like Tomorrowland vibe, you know, like big festival with like a DJ lineup.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so this is the second year they're doing it in Athens, and I'm the only girl
Oh,
DJ,
oh my
so that'll be
gosh.
interesting.
Wow.
It's on the 18th of June,
Of
so that
June.
should be fun.
That's
Yeah.
exciting. Now, what's the
Yeah.
biggest crowd you've ever played for?
That was at the Taekwondo Stadium for the opening show from Ace of Hearts tour with Sakis. I think there
Oh,
was like, I don't know, 5,000, 100,000 people. I don't know. I'm not
wow.
sure.
Now, do you get nervous? Does that intimidate you with all those people or not at all?
Do you know what intimidates me? The sound that you hear from like the banging of like when they bang their feet and when they make noise
Oh,
and
like that.
right before you go on stage.
Oh, okay. That.
Because there's like that, it's a rumble, you know, it's like that rumble. If you've ever seen like old sort of Rome movies, how you hear the Colosseum like as a rumble,
Yeah, yeah.
it's that thing, you know, and then you get that feeling of like, I'm about to go on stage and face this,
Didn't
you
face
know?
it. Yeah. That's
But that's it, you know, like right when that moment happens, when I hear that, that's when I get nervous. Once I walk on stage, it's like magic. It just goes away.
I was going to say
There's
you
no-
probably
yeah.
vibe very well with the audience, and that whole energy is probably amazing. I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, once you get on, your adrenaline is just so elevated that you just don't even have time to feel nervous. You know, you just want to explode.
Yes.
You know?
Now, does time kind of fly by for you as you're playing? Because it seems like you know what I mean? Time goes quick when you're playing. I don't know. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because you know, most clubs when they book a DJ, you know, you have a time frame
Yeah.
where you know you say, okay, my set is 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it is, 3 hours. There's been so many times where you know my tour manager has come up to me during my set and he's like, okay, you need to wrap up, and I'm like, what? Are you serious?
And it went by quick.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Are you serious? Like, I'm done? He goes, yeah. And because, you know, completely technically speaking, I get paid for a certain amount of time I play, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, just leave it. I want to keep playing. And the guy's like, yeah, but you're not paid to play more. You know, you need to. And I'm like, don't worry about the money. I'm having.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't even realized.
I feel like you
Yeah.
can keep playing for hours, just like whatever, you know, have a good time.
Yeah, no, it's totally like that, especially when the crowd is like it's really feeling what you're doing and there's that energy and
Yeah.
you're just like a part of a experience, you know.
can't cut
You
them
don't want
off.
to Yeah, you don't want to cut it off. Exactly. I'm like, no, I don't care about the money, dude. Just let me do my
Yes.
thing, you know. You deal with the money, let me do mine,
Exactly.
you know.
Now, is there a total dream for you? What's your dream you'd like to, like, where would you like to play?
Well, Tomorrowland is a huge, it's a huge festival that, you know, ever since I kind of got into DJing, it's been this, like, you know, myth thing, you know,
Yeah.
in my head, you know, Tomorrowland and stuff like that. So, obviously playing at a festival like Tomorrowland or EDC, you know, in the States, would be incredible. There's obviously festivals all around the world, but really those are, you know, my top. And Ultrafest in Miami, I was actually there a couple of months ago. I had 2 shows during Miami Music Week, which was fun. Obviously not on the Ultra stage, but, you know, kind of, I had my shows too.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point I would love to be on stages like that.
That would be amazing. So cool. Now tell us a little bit about the New York scene. Like, because we know they have EDC down there, New York as well. Like, what is that like down there, the music scene?
So New York is a very eclectic area. You know, a lot of new music gets born in New York. There's tons of extremely talented artists, you know, of all genres. You know, you've got jazz artists, you've got, you know, soul, you've got singer-songwriters, house, deep house, everything. What I have noticed is that the clubs in New York have kind of switched things up. You know, most clubs in New York now tend to go for a thing called open format, which is pretty much like what it says, open format, like the DJ pretty much plays everything, kind of like a radio station or
And what was it
whatever.
previously? What's the...
Previously, there was a lot of like house music in New York. You know, there was clubs that loved house music. People used to go to clubs to listen to house music. Now that has taken a bit of a turn. I think it's going to bounce back up because a lot of people are missing and wanting to hear house music. I actually had a show at the Highline Ballroom 2 days ago in New York, and it was it was kind of toward the peak hour of the night, and prior to me were incredible DJs who were doing their top 40 and kind of hip hop and open format stuff, and then I went on and I did what I do, which is my house stuff. You honestly should have seen how people were reacting to that. They were just going insane. Like, people from the actual club itself were coming up to me and they were like, "You're annihilating it right now."
No way.
Because people miss it, people miss it. And I think it's going to take a turn, it's going to come back. Like EDC, of course, is in New York, and that's house. So, festivals like that do preserve it. And, Highline has house nights, Lavo has house nights, Output, Verboten in Brooklyn. But, it's very limited.
Well, tell us, in Greece, who have you seen live? Like, who's your favorite singers?
Oh gosh, I've seen a ton of people. Recently, and I had a really great time, I went to The Box, which is a new club that opened up in Greece and in Athens. And it was Melises, which were performing, Playmen, and Shaya. And they were just, I loved it. I had a really good time, and I told them this as well. I told them, congrats on what you guys have done, because it's very fresh. It's not your typical bouzoukia. It's got a lighter vibe. It fuses some elements of bouzoukia, it fuses some elements of dance, some elements of pop, some elements of Greek and English. It's a really nice mix of things with a bunch of young artists who really, really, their energy was beautiful, and the club is incredible, by the way. The club itself is, the venue. One of the most beautiful venues I've ever seen in my life. The entrance is it's very geometric, and it's covered in mirrors. The whole thing is mirrors. Everyone takes pictures in there, because it's just, you walk in and you're like, what is that? You don't know where to walk, because it's all mirrors. It's crazy. It's really cool.
Very cool. That's why maybe The Box, right? That's why it's called
The Box. So it's very geometric. Yeah.
Very neat, very neat. Now, have you worked with any of the Greek singers, or when you were at the Mad Walk, did you associate with anyone?
Yeah, so I work with Damta, obviously, for a single that we released together. It's the Greek version of my single Broken that I released with Pitbull's label. The song is called Γεννήθηκα για σένα, and the Greek lyrics were written by Stan. So, yeah, that was my first Greek collaboration, and it went beautifully. The song did very well in Greece, and I'm very happy it did, as well as it did. And then I worked with Saki Ruva. I was on his tour, The Ace of Hearts, which went all around Greece, and then I wrote and produced his single Πιο ψηλά, and in English Open Eyes, which he performed at the World Music Awards. And then I did Mad Walk the first year I did Mad Walk, which was 3 years ago, it was with Damta. We performed our song together, and then I did a couple of remixes for Mad Walk and gave them to other artists, so that was kind of me being a producer and collaborating. The second year was with Vegas. We did a mashup of what's it called? Hey Baby, I think, with I Feel Love by Donna Summer, so we did that. And then the third year was this year, and I did a remix of How Deep Is Your Love, and I performed it with Vespina Vandri, and it was a closing act. So
that's amazing. Wow, what a resume you have. Unreal. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you. It was fun.
Is there a dream artist you'd like to work with? Anybody that you haven't yet?
Well, a dream artist. I mean, there's a lot of artists in Greece who are really, really talented, and I'd love to work with. Very recently, I've kind of linked up with a lead singer from Melises because I love his voice. I think his voice is beautiful, and his English, when he sings in English, it's amazing. So it looks like, between you and I and whoever's watching this, potentially, we may be looking at a collaboration down the line. And same goes for Clady. Yeah, so that should be interesting too.
Oh, Stan, you mentioned before, wrote some lyrics. Have you worked with Stan personally, like before? Would you like to?
No, I haven't. I haven't worked with him on something else other than the XENIA GHALI song for the lyrics, in Greek. But you never know. Maybe down the line.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to working with anyone as long as it's good music and we have a good time and we vibe. Why not?
Exactly. Very cool stuff. I'm excited maybe for the Melly Says Things like you told us. So all that stuff. Exciting, exciting. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're gonna ask you a couple get to know you questions.
Mhm.
So first off, go ahead and tell us something we don't know about you. Anything random?
Something you don't know about me. I'm a nerd.
A nerd.
I'm a huge nerd. Well, I used to read a lot when I was young. I used to be really into fantasy books. So, the Narnia Chronicles, and I like Star Wars and all that stuff. And people don't really think of me as a nerd. I also know how to code. Like I code, stuff in MATLAB primarily, which is what I use to code certain things for music. I do a lot of synthesis, which is, again, sort of coding and like building your own synthesizers and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a nerd, and a lot of people don't think I am because I don't know, because I...
Cool, because like you said, the synthesizing and all that is very difficult. I find people just don't know how to do that, just normally.
No, it is. It's very difficult, and the biggest. I don't mind something being difficult, but it's very time consuming, and that sometimes is the problem. I don't really have much of a life in terms of my social life. I'm always working, and the reason is because I really kind of do everything myself. I like to build my own stuff. I like to perfect things, as we talked about earlier. It's very time consuming.
Well, give us a little bit of inspiration. What do you think people can do if they have like a dream they want to build off of, kind of to inspire people to live their dream, like you have so far?
I would say the only thing that is required is to be ready to really like put everything you have into whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, the people that exceed and excel, in my opinion, are the people who, instead of going out for coffee, will read up on knowing how to do what they do better, or practicing, or trying things out and failing. Not being afraid to fail is the best way to, gain success.
Mm-hmm.
So not being afraid to fail, you learn why you failed, and then you avoid doing your mistake. And then, you'll fail again and again and again and again till at one point you get it right. So really that's what I would, advise people who want to do anything, not just music. And that's it. And really just make sure that what you do is making you happy, because you only live once, and
Exactly.
you're only going to give what you love your, insane amounts of attention.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to give something you hate that much attention.
Exactly. Definitely follow your passions, for sure.
Yeah.
All solid advice. And then how about, do you have a current celebrity crush? Do you have anybody you like?
Oh, goodness. 100 of them.
100. Okay, one of the many. Which ones?
Celebrity crush. Let me see. Well, I've always been. This is so cliche, but I've always been a Johnny Depp fan.
Okay.
I just think he's gorgeous.
Yes.
Like I really do. I think he's so on point. He's very edgy, and I just like him. I like him a lot.
And then what do you look for in a guy? Do you have any specifics? Anything you kind of look for?
So the only thing that is really important to me, in terms of what I am attracted to, is that my, significant other, guy, boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, has a passion of his own, I'm a very energetic person and a very passionate person, and, if the guy I'm with doesn't have not the same amount of passion necessarily, but some kind of passion, or he's not passionate as a person, it won't work out, because I'll just get bored,
Yes.
I need fire, I'm a Leo.
Yeah.
I need fire,
Exactly. Well, what do you think, being like young in today's dating society, what do you think about the dating world?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, the dating world has become very different. I sound like I'm a 50-year-old woman, but even, when I was in school, we used to go out to the movies, we used to have dinner together. You know, I feel like kids, especially nowadays, you know, they don't meet each other like that. They meet each other through social media and through texting and through stuff like that. And then the older kids or people or young adults, however you want to call it, you know, depend very much now on, you know, dating websites and dating apps, you know, and social media again and stuff like that. So really it's become a society where communication and human interaction is very limited, which is really sad. You know, people don't really go on dates anymore, I feel. They're kind of like, what, really, date, whatever, you know?
I know.
I'm like, you know, but it's nice, you know. I'm a huge, like, old school person with stuff like that. You know, I honestly love going to the movies. You know, I love going for dinner. You know, I love hanging out or getting to know the actual person, you know, not what he looks like or his status on Facebook or Twitter. You know, I don't care about
Do you
that.
have a favorite fast food restaurant?
Favorite fast food restaurant? I kind of stay away from fast food because I was raised that way. You know, my mom was like, if you want a burger, I'll just make you a home burger, you know, homemade burger. So I kind of stay away from fast food restaurants. If I'd have to choose one, I'd say, I mean, it's not American Everest in Greece. It's kind of like a really, really, really healthy version of Subway.
Oh, okay.
Like they have like sandwiches and tiropita and spanakopita and pastries and stuff like that. And then they have make your own salad, you know. And
that sounds amazing. Oh my goodness.
It's nice. It's fresh. It's nice.
So do you eat any desserts then at all, or no, like sweets? Do you like any of that?
Well, my favorite dessert for the longest time was cheesecake, but then I got sick of it. Then anything that has to do with chocolate is amazing. But, you know, again, I try to stay away from it for obvious reasons. You know, I feel like when I have a sugar craving, I'd much rather have like a Greek yogurt with honey and cinnamon. You know, it's incredibly tasty and it's healthy, you know, and I get my sugar fix from it, and that's it.
Exactly. Now, do you know how to cook at all? Can you cook?
Yeah, I can cook. I'm a pretty good cook.
Oh, cool. Very neat. What's your specialty or what's your favorite dish to cook?
Oh, God. What is my specialty? Well, I cook. I cook a lot of Greek foods like kotoplo, stofurno with patates, you know, lemonato, all that stuff.
Now, on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere on social media, have you had like any big celebrity reach out to you or follow you? Anything that's like a big deal?
Yeah. I mean, I've had quite a few from Greece, obviously, and from the U.S. You know, everyone from, I don't know, Skrillex tweeted me. He actually inboxed me, which was crazy. I thought it was fake at the beginning, and I was like, what is this? And no, it was actually him.
What did he say, or like compliment your stuff?
I think it was just like a hi or something. I can't even remember what it was. We had like a very brief conversation. It was over Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't anything insane, but that was weird. I was like, but he follows me as an example, and he inboxed me. You know, a lot of different artists and, you know, DJs, a lot of DJs, you know, Greek artists, some US artists, you know.
Wow.
Obviously, Wyclef, who I worked with, Jessica Sutter, who, you know, I had kind of done a collaboration with, a lot of house DJs from the US and from, you know, other areas in the world, you know, and then Greek artists, of course.
Oh, wow, amazing. So cool. And tell us real quick, what was it like working with Pitbull? What is that like?
Oh, I mean, it is amazing. Pitbull is an extremely, extremely nice and humble and just charming person. You know, he is really, really an incredible human being, and, you know, good things happen to good people. So I'm really not surprised at his success, you know, having met him and really seen that he is a shining star. You know, he just is.
I'm so glad to hear all this nice stuff about him. That's good.
No, he is, seriously, I mean, he looks nice, but I was just shocked at how nice, you know? He is just, you would never have known it was Pitbull if you actually didn't know it was him.
Oh my
His
God.
behavior is so down to earth and chill and just polite. You know, he will, like, I walked out of the door, he waited for me, you know, stuff like that. You know, really, really, really gentleman-like, just very, very polite, very nice guy. So, you know, it was a huge honor that, you know, he believed in me enough to want to sign me and, you know, let me, you know, really do my thing and you know, make whatever kind of impact I can make on the industry. And then of course he wanted me to do the official remix for his single with Chris Brown called Fun. So I did that.
Oh, wow.
Which was an incredible honor as well. And everyone who's watching, thank you so much. Σας αγαπώ. I'm assuming everybody or most people agree. Σας αγαπώ πάρα πολύ. Φιλάκια πολλά από εμένα και ελπίζω να σας συναντήσω κάποια στιγμή από κοντά. Thank you so much.